Welcome back, everybody. It's a great day, great addition to the podcast. Some miscommunication, some unfortunate news to our sponsorships have left us to go on a 2 week strike the last 2 weeks with no podcast. However, we're here today. We're here to face the music. We're here with all the questions being asked. However, one of our hosts is not able because it's family time, Thanksgiving, but me and Andrew are here to welcome you back. Andrew, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and like I just previously said, it just has to do with all sponsorships, and sometimes you have to go on strike for certain situations. That's what we had to do. I know it left our fans hanging, but we move on and we keep fighting. However, we just want to jump right into kind of what happened last week in terms of some of the things that went down in the league. Not our old one, but our other host who's not able to be here right now, our commissioner, won 107-72 over Robert with great production from Kirk Cousins and his defense. The Vikings defense has been phenomenal this year, and it's just for Robert, it's just another disappointing week. Best team coming out of the draft just can't get it done. Andrew, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, officially is the end of Robert. Rest in peace to his first season. You came out with a lot of hype. You did a great job in the draft, or what we thought was a great job in the draft, and you couldn't pull through for the season. You took a tough one here, and it's tough, but I'll be here for you if you need someone to talk to. I've never been a 4-17, but I'll try and sympathize. I can't empathize, but just learn from it, and hopefully you get better next year.
Yeah, I think I previously stated this on other podcasts, saying I hope he continues this trend as being one of the worst teams in the league. That way, it's a guaranteed win every week I play him. So, thank you, Robert. However, moving on, Andrew, big guy, close game between you and the other guy, Joe. 3-point loss here, 90-87. I'm just going to give it to you. What happened out there?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger puts up 8 points against the Browns. That's never what you want. Chiefs defense gives up only 19 points, but has zero fantasy points. And Golden Tate from your abysmal Detroit Lions, probably going to be the worst playoff team this year, puts up a nice goose egg too. You're not going to win with those kind of stat lines. And I just want to say that even with this sort of low-scoring week for me, I still have the most points in the league, and my playoff spot's in jeopardy, while Joe just secured his playoff spot more or less and has the second least amount of points in the league. Just shows you that fantasy is a cruel game. It's tough. The best man doesn't always prevail in the long run, which you would think would happen in a league like this, but it doesn't. But I can't let it get me down. Still 2 big games left for me, and got to get better from them.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all that needs to be said, Andrew. Yeah, like you said, sometimes you run into guys that put up a lot of points and you can still lose the week. And sometimes, like you, Joe, you can just put up low-scoring weeks and you can come out victorious. And if you have a better record at the end of the day, you end up making the playoffs. It sucks, but that's fantasy football. Moving on, I mean, wow. Gibson and Bob, 64-62. Snuck out a victory there, Bob. Not like it matters. This game was kind of irrelevant game. However, Andrew, thoughts on this irrelevant game?
Yeah, did I see Bob's 5-6?
Yes, he isn't. Yes, 5-6.
I think his point total is probably towards the bottom, so he realistically doesn't really have a chance, I don't think. But in theory, I mean, Bob has 2 big weeks and pulls out 2 wins. Who knows what could happen?
That would be interesting if Bob's sticking in the playoffs. His team would be the worst lineup I guess you could throw out there for a playoff team. I hope he doesn't. I just hope he doesn't make it. I want him to do like Robert and just roll over and die and just keep doing that while they're in the league. Moving on, ex-roommates, Mike. I don't know what's going on with Mike this year, but he lost 46-95 to Eric. Oh, I'm sorry. The guy who shall not be named. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers had a good day. Mike just had a terrible day. I think that's more of the moral of the story here. Andrew, anything on this game?
Yeah, I play Mike. I don't know if we're going to talk about next matchups, but I play him. And if he plays players, actually, I'm going to be kind of upset because he obviously didn't care about this week. Kicker's on a bye. Dwayne Allen, I didn't even know if he played. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the game, so he might have. But stuff like that. But yeah, Mike, just do this again next week, and I won't have a problem with it. The guy who should not be named is making a late charge, and he's proven himself. He can leave the podcast, and he came back though. And ever since he came back on the podcast, I don't think he's lost. So
Yeah.
Take that how you may.
It's just been a rough year for Mike in terms of not adding players when he should have, not trading players when he should have. Been a rough year. And with Andrew Luck not playing for Mike next week, I don't even know what Mike's going to do. It's going to be a rough week, Andrew. I guess it's good for you, like you said, but rough year for Mike. Moving on.
I still love him, though. He's a great guy.
Very good guy. Very good guy, yes. Moving on. I had a victorious day versus the King of the North, Ryan Hutcherson, so-called King of the North, who has been abysmal the last couple of weeks. 101-87 victory. Le'Veon Bell, getting him in the second round was a steal. T.Y. and Des Bryant just week after week are producing for me. And, I throw out DeAndre Hopkins because I just can, and I still come out with a victory. I love it. Don't even need him for Monday night. It's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. Andrew, thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't start Robert Kelly or Todd Gurley. And you decided to start Jonathan Stewart and DeAndre Hopkins. Your team's actually really good now that I look at your bench. You're not playing your best players. Very questionable decision making by you, but Hutch should be alarmed because you're throwing out some of your second stringers and you're still taking them behind the woodshed. I think the division's becoming yours to lose because I don't think Hutch is going to win out. And point totals, I don't know where they're at, but I'd assume Hutch is dropping rapidly, and he has a lot of red flags left and right on his team need to be looked at.
Yeah. Back to your point about point totals. I think I'm only like 20 or 30 points behind him. So it all depends on how we throw out our lineups. Like I said, if I would have thrown out Robert Kelly, who knows what it would be at right now. So, just good week. The better team won, as we always like to say here. However, before we jump into some of the previewing for next week, I'd just like to address some of the things that have been going on while we have not been on the podcast. Things such as of trading. Andrew and I have both had trades that have been vetoed recently with Mike for no apparent reason, it seems like. Don't understand how and why they were getting vetoed, but apparently a trade between Joe and Hutch can go through and probably will go through. I don't know if is it more of long hate and jealousy along our part, or what is the what do you think, Andrew? What's the deal here with these vetoing of trades, especially this week and last week?
Yeah, because in my trade, Mike, you looked at Mike's roster. He needs depth, and yours was sort of a similar situation. I gave up 3 starters for one of his starters. If the league could look me in the eye and tell me that they honestly think Mike's team wouldn't be better from my trade, then I'd have to say you're a complete idiot, number one, because Mike's team was getting better from the trade I offered him. He had to give up 1 starter, 1 receiver for 3 players who would start on his team that are better options than what he has. I mean, it's a no-brainer for him. And I think it is what you say. It's jealousy and hatred for you, especially with your trade history. You throw out a lot of asinine trades, and I think that hurts when you try and put a real trade out there.
I don't like putting myself out there.
But I don't see why I am maybe it's because I have the most points in the league this year. I don't know. I don't think I did anything. I don't have a true rivalry in the league. There's not one person now that Jonah's gone that is just hate or that is outwardly. There's probably people that do hate me in the league, but they're not outspoken about it to get the 4 vetoes. So I don't know. It baffles me. I'm baffled. I don't know what to say.
I think also, like, I've offered Mike the exact same trade that was declined every week for the last 3 weeks, and then he declines it from me. It's not like he accepts, but then I'm just trying to help Mike out, or at least get him some depth. He just doesn't have the depth on his team. But it's a little ridiculous. However, I also want to touch one point before we move on. Hutch, a couple weeks ago, was begging me to like a comment in the group me, so Kyle could push this trade through. He was begging me. He texted me 4 or 5 different times. Hey, dude, why haven't you?
He texted me as well. I got
I'm
received
like,
that.
dude. I told him I was like, I do not want. Why would I want you to trade to make your team better if I'm in your division? I'm not gonna like it. So the trade goes through. So you have better players. And he got pissed at me. I'm not gonna veto it, but I'm not gonna like it to make it push through. So don't come at me.
Hypocritical, asinine, unfathomable, all words that can be described about the way that some of these people in this league are behaving right now.
Right. I mean, you don't ask me for handouts. This league isn't for handouts, okay? But anyways, that's enough about that. Moving on, we have previewing for next week. Big matchup. I'll probably change my name. Chris Conti gave me a W. I love that name. But moving on, Bob versus me. Big matchup. Need a win here. I have a lot of check marks going for me so far. However, I don't know. I've been switching around my lineup, especially with the TY injury. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. Andrew, thoughts on this matchup between Bob and I?
Yeah, still sticking with DeAndre Hopkins. Interesting. I don't know what other receivers you have. The TY's hurt. Apparently, I did not know that. Don't know who you'd start instead of him. I'm just looking at your side because I know who's on the other side, and I don't really need to give a real analysis because you're obviously going to win this game and probably by 20 plus. But yeah, who's on your bench that you're not? Who did I say from the last one?
It's because I don't know about Andrew Luck. I don't know if I want to start TY or not. So it depends on how I'll decide that like tonight or tomorrow before that game starts.
Yeah, you're going to run
TY, Robert Kelly's on my bench right now, and Jonathan Stewart. Those are the main guys.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of good running backs to choose from, so you're kind of like me in that regard. We have a lot of good running backs, and that's the sign of a really good team. So I think you're going to run away with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping for, if I win this victory by 20 plus, scoring the hundreds, I definitely see myself as a good seed going into the playoffs. So I like my chances here. Moving on, Hutch versus the other the guy who should not be named, the dark horse. Great name, but I don't know. This is gonna be a good game. This is gonna be a close matchup. Both teams got an eye for a prize. I don't know. Andrew, thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I need Hutch to snap out of this streak, this losing streak he's in. This would be big for me to see Eric go down. I think me and him are both 6-5, and Kyle's 6-5 as well, but he has less points, I think, than Eric. I could be totally wrong, so don't quote me. But I need Hutch to snap out of it. Antonio Brown playing against the Colts, absolutely love it. Some favorable matchups for him, but Eric's got some on his side too. Should be a good game, but I think Hutch is going to win because I need him to.
Yeah, just looking at Eric's team right now, I love where the player rankings are. So Rodgers is 1, Blunt is 5. Eric's got a lot of guys that are really good. I guess Hutch does too, but I don't
Evans
know.
against Seattle though is going to be tough.
Yeah, that will be tough. That'll be very tough. Yeah, obviously from my end, Andrew, I need Hutch to lose, or I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Hutch losing, just so he stays on his losing streak, just to spite him. But I don't know. This will probably come down to a Monday night game. I can't remember who the Monday night game is, but we'll see. It's going to be probably the best matchup of all the matchups. All right, moving on here. Wow, Daryl Hazel got jobbed versus Colin must win. Oops, got to go through a preview. Andrew, thoughts on Kyle versus Gibson?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, I don't ask you for much, but please win this week. Same situation that Eric's in with me. I don't see many scenarios where you do come away victorious this week. But if you can find that 1 in a million, so you're telling me there's a chance, and I hope you win.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. I don't see much. I don't have much confidence in Gibson's team, especially with a projected total of 80. But Andrew, I guess you do need to win. But Kyle, I mean, if he was here to state his case, he feels good about himself, especially going up against Gibson this week. So, all right, moving on. The other guy versus Robert. Robert, oh my, wow, a lot of check marks on Robert's side. I'd probably take Joe and the points, but
I've
Robert's
never seen that many check marks on one side.
no, that's
People who filled out their roster.
if Joe is probably not feeling good. It looks like that trade got pushed through, right?
No, it
No, it
didn't.
didn't. No, it didn't. Okay, no, it didn't. Sorry,
Um,
but
yeah,
I don't
but I
know.
think that this would be a microcosm of Robert's season, just expecting to win and be one of the best teams. He has all the check marks and he loses. So with that being said, I again need Robert to win this one, but I think that Joe's going to fulfill Robert's destiny of being overhyped and overrated.
Yeah, Robert definitely has been favored in majority of his matchups this year and has lost probably all those. Roberts against the spread this year is not very good. Let's just put it that way. Moving on, big matchup, Andrew, for you versus Mike. Should be a cupcake win. You're a 35-point favorite here, and that's Mike throwing out his best. That's him throwing out his best lineup.
You know,
You should feel good about that. You're a 35-point favorite with his best players, and his best players are terrible. So thoughts on this?
yeah,
This matchup?
he also actually set his lineup this week, which I was hoping he would not. And being a Colts fan, I would hope that he'd stick with Andrew Luck, even though he's out, just in solidarity with the Colts. But didn't do that. I need this one. I loved Ben Roethlisberger against the Cleveland Indian Browns, but that didn't work out. So hopefully the Colts, an even worse defense, maybe if that's even possible, he can actually play well. Got some favorable matchups, got some not so favorable matchups, but Mike's team's pretty abysmal, and I'm hoping this isn't the week that he actually, things click for him. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Mike's going with the New York Dream Team. He's got Manning, he's got a Giants, a Jets, a Giants, and a Giants guy. He's got a lot of Giants out, a lot of New York guys out there. We'll see how it goes, but I don't know, Mike. I don't know. He looks at his lineup one week and then he doesn't, and then then he doesn't one week, and now he's looking at it again. So
Who did he play last week?
He played Eric last week.
That collusion?
I don't know. I have no idea. You could, if you want to call it out, you could call it out. But Andrew, I do like you in this matchup.
I think that is collusion because he didn't set his lineup 1 week this season, right? There's 1 week where he just played a player on a bye, just didn't set his lineup, and that happened to be against Eric, who's in a tight playoff race. And kickers are always guaranteed. That's the big, probably they're guaranteed around 6 points. My kickers sometimes don't get there, but most kickers in the league get around 6 to 10 points minimum. And those are big points. It's just fishy. I don't know. Mike, maybe throw in Andrew Luck, and I will say that's not collusion then, because then you're doing it for everybody. But just doing it for Plude, I don't know. Seems a little fishy to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mike, that is a little fishy. And I've been told that I'm a colluder, and I mean, that's just ridiculous coming from that end. However, I don't know. There's nothing we can do, Andrew. So unless you want to call it out and call them out and see what happens. But is there anything else you want to address to our fans? I didn't have really any pressing issues here in the email box that I'm showing right now. But any pressing issues to close the fans with?
Yeah, just for the fans, be careful who you cheer for down the stretch because, playoff implications, and they're going to be the ones, whoever wins will be commissioner next year unless they hand it off. So if you don't want the league in the hands of someone who's colluded or is a part of that, I wouldn't put my faith or my fanhood behind that kind of person. So cheer wisely, cheer for me.
Yeah, likewise, but cheer for me. And just going back to the sponsorships and the advertisements, our podcast will no longer have any advertisements or any other funding from those avenues. We'll be going a different direction for revenue. We'll come out with a different podcast for that. However, that was the reasoning for these past 2 weeks. We really do not like doing that, but we had to. However, I like to leave everybody with. I hope all your players get injured or none of mine get injured and I win and everybody else loses. So have a good week, everybody.